Welcome to Have More Babies. Okay, I have a question for you. When you think about keeping healthy, what usually comes to mind first? Vitamin C, right? Maybe vitamin D? They get all the attention. But today, we're putting the spotlight on, well, kind of an underdog mineral, an essential trace element that seriously punches above its weight, zinc.
Hmm.
You sent us some really fascinating stuff, including an article from Omega Pediatrics that digs into just how powerful this element is.
Hmm.
So we're going to really unpack the amazing reality of zinc today. Our goal here is to get a handle on its two big jobs. First, how it supports our super complex immune system, and second, how it helps with that incredible process of healing.
Yeah, it's such a crucial topic because, even though we only need zinc in tiny amounts, it is a trace element. After all, it's involved in something like, what, over 300 different enzyme reactions in our bodies?
Wow, 300.
Right. And what a lot of people miss is that zinc isn't just some general wellness booster. It's actually a very precise biological modulator. Think of it like a specific key, turning specific cellular processes on or off. It really defines how we defend ourselves and how we repair damage.
Okay, let's get into that precision then, starting with the immune system. You're saying zinc isn't just like showing up for the fight. It actually trains the soldiers
Mhm.
and manages the whole battlefield.
That's a great way to put it. It's incredibly comprehensive. We can sort of break down its work into maybe four critical pillars that show the whole picture of defense.
Okay.
So the first pillar is all about the building blocks themselves. Lymphocyte maturation. Lymphocytes are your main immune cells, right?
Mm.
And zinc is absolutely essential for the quality control and the training camp for these cells,
Mm.
especially to T lymphocytes.
T lymphocytes.
Yeah.
Why are they so important? Can you give us like an easy way to picture what zinc does for them?
Sure. Think of T lymphocytes as maybe the special forces of your immune system. They don't just attack randomly. They're trained to find and destroy specific cells that are already infected, say, by a virus.
Okay.
Well, they need zinc to develop properly in the thymus gland. That ensures they're mature, they're functional, and ready to go quickly when needed. If zinc is low, the body's ability to make these really specific smart fighter cells is seriously hampered.
Got it. So it helps make the smart weapons? But, when those weapons deploy, sometimes the body's reaction itself can cause problems, like too much inflammation.
Okay.
That brings us to pillar two, right? The peacekeeper role.
Exactly. Pillar 2, anti-inflammatory effects. So when you get an infection, your body sends out these signals, molecules, called cytokines. They're vital for alerting the immune system, but if that release isn't controlled,
Uh-oh.
yeah, it leads to excessive inflammation. Sometimes you hear about a cytokine storm. Zinc actually steps in to modulate that response, to kind of dampen it down.
That word modulate keeps coming up. How does it actually physically slow down that inflammation signal?
Well, it mainly works by interfering with some key inflammatory pathways. One big one is called NFG. It's basically a master regulator of inflammation all through the body.
Okay.
By inhibiting the signals that lead to huge amounts of cytokines, zinc helps make sure the inflammatory response is, proportional to the actual threat.
Mm.
It helps prevent that extra tissue damage from an immune system that's gone a bit overboard.
That's a really detailed job for a trace element. And zinc's also a serious antioxidant, pillar number 3.
Precisely. Pillar 3 is its antioxidant role. Our cells are constantly dealing with free radicals, these unstable molecules from metabolism from the environment.
Right, oxidative stress.
Exactly.
Okay.
Causes cellular damage. Now, zinc doesn't tackle these radicals directly. Instead, it acts as a crucial helper, a catalyst for critical enzymes, like superoxide dismutase. These enzymes are the body's main cleanup crew for free radicals. So zinc basically helps prevent your cells from, rusting internally. It keeps everything intact.
Wow, the ultimate cellular maintenance crew, stopping that daily wear and tear. Okay, and the last one, the most basic defense, the physical wall.
That's pillar 4. Barrier functions.
Mhm.
Your skin, the mucous membranes, the lining in your airways, your gut, those are your first physical shields.
Mm-hmm.
Zinc is vital for keeping those barriers strong, structurally sound. A healthy gut lining, for example, stops pathogens from just waltzing into your bloodstream. Zinc is actively helping hold that fortress wall together, making sure that first line is tough to breach.
It's pretty incredible that one single trace element manages all these complex interconnected systems at the same time.
It really is.
And the sources we looked at confirm this isn't just theory. There are studies, like in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, showing these benefits. And the World Health Organization confirms how important it is, especially for managing childhood illnesses, making them less severe or shorter.
Yeah, and if we bring it back to you, the listener, what this means is Zinc is providing systemic readiness. It makes sure that when your body does face a challenge, a bug, an injury, the whole immune machine, the soldiers, the peacekeepers, the walls, everything is already optimized and working as efficiently as possible.
That idea of optimization and structure,
Mhm.
it leads us right into the next big area. Let's shift from defense to construction. When the body gets damaged, like a wound, this repair process kicks in. What makes zinc so absolutely vital for healing?
Oh, it's fundamental. Just fundamental to the entire remodeling process because it's needed at basically every single stage. We can maybe highlight three key phases where zinc is just indispensable. First up, structure.
Collagen synthesis.
Collagen, right? That's like the scaffolding for any wound, isn't it? It eventually
Mm.
becomes the new tissue, the scar. How does zinc help make that protein?
Well, collagen's a complex protein, right, made of chains of amino acids.
Mhm.
Zinc is needed as a cofactor, a helper molecule, for the enzymes that stabilize these chains into that strong triple helix structure.
Think of it like maybe the welding tool or the pin that holds the structure together. Without enough zinc, the collagen that's made is kind of weak or there isn't enough of it. That's why a deficiency really slows down wound closure and leads to weaker scar tissue.
So it makes sure the building beams are solid, got it, and then once the structure is there, the gap needs to fill in quickly.
Exactly. Which brings us to step 2, cell proliferation. For a wound to close up, cells need to divide and multiply fast. Zinc is directly involved in making DNA and RNA.
The blueprints.
The blueprints needed for that rapid cell division, yeah. Mitosis, it literally speeds up the multiplication of the cells, fibroblasts, epithelial cells that move in to cover the damaged spot. So it really dictates the pace of the repair.
Strength and speed working together. That's impressive. And the third part, that involves cleaning up the old stuff and refining the new structure.
Yes. The cleanup, the remodeling phase, is just as critical as laying down the initial tissue. Zinc is needed for enzyme activation for this remodeling. It activates specific enzymes. They're called matrix metalloproteinases. And their job is to break down the old, damaged collagen and tissue bits. This clears the way so the new, healthy tissue can form properly underneath. It ensures the healing is deep and complete, not just, a quick patch job on the surface.
Wow. And the sources we saw back this up too, like that 2019 study in the Journal of Dermatological Science, looking right at skin integrity and healing, plus lots of research from the NIH confirming zinc is non-negotiable, really, for every single stage of wound management.
It just reinforces that idea, doesn't it? That optimizing your health really means paying attention to these tiny, intricate details that we don't always see.
Okay, so since zinc is so important for both everyday defense and for emergency repairs, it raises the big practical question. How do we get enough? Let's talk about sources. The good news is there seems to be a decent range of choices.
That's right. Generally speaking, if you eat animal products, getting enough zinc is usually pretty straightforward, and it's highly bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it easily. Meat, fish, and poultry are great sources, especially red meat and shellfish like oysters. They're packed with zinc.
Right, oysters are famous for it. But what about people following vegetarian or plant-based diets?
They definitely have good options too. Things like nuts, seeds, and legumes. Think pumpkin seeds, cashews, chickpeas. They have good amounts of zinc.
But there's a catch sometimes, right, with absorption.
Yeah, there can be. Plant foods also contain compounds called phytates, which can bind to zinc and sort of block its absorption a bit. So sometimes techniques like soaking beans or sprouting seeds are recommended to help maximize how much you actually get.
Right.
And then, of course, you also see zinc added to foods, fortified foods. Some breakfast cereals, even some dairy products might be fortified with it.
Right. But just knowing where to get it isn't the whole story. We really need to talk about that double-edged sword aspect, a really crucial line between getting enough and getting too much.
Absolutely. This balancing act is like the central challenge with micronutrients. On one side, you have deficiency, and it's a major issue globally, actually. The consequences are pretty direct. Compromised immune function, slow wound healing, exactly the things we just talked about.
Yeah.
And really importantly, especially in children, a deficiency can lead to pretty significant cognitive and developmental problems. Zinc is just vital for proper brain development and function.
Wow, that impact on kids really underscores why balance is so key. That's a serious concern.
It really is. Then you flip the coin and you have toxicity. Taking way too much zinc, usually from supplements like high doses over time, that causes problems too.
The kind of problems.
Well, short-term, high doses can cause things like nausea, stomach upset. But the bigger worry with chronic excess zinc is mineral imbalance.
Mineral imbalance. Okay, what's the main casualty there? What does too much zinc mess up?
Copper. It mainly disrupts copper absorption. Zinc and copper basically compete for the same entry points, the same transport systems in your gut.
Ah,
So if you flood your system with really high levels of zinc for a long time, it effectively blocks copper from getting absorbed properly. And copper is essential too. You need it for iron metabolism, for energy production, nerve health.
so you end up deficient in copper instead.
Exactly. Chronic zinc toxicity can actually cause a secondary copper deficiency, and that can show up as symptoms like anemia or even neurological issues. It's serious stuff.
Wow, so trying to overdo it on one essential mineral actually sabotages another one entirely. That mechanism, the competition with copper, that's a really powerful detail for people to keep in mind. The answer isn't always just more, it's about balance, precision.
Precision is absolutely the word, being aware of how important zinc is and then maintaining those adequate balanced levels. That's just fundamental for real, sustained health and wellness. These tiny trace elements, they're like the microgears that really power the whole big machine.
So what's the big takeaway here for you listening? I think it's a really powerful reminder that sometimes we focus so much on the big picture, the macro health stuff, we kind of overlook these essential micronutrients. But trace elements like zinc, they're truly the little igniters for major biological processes. Our overall wellness really hinges on them.
And that focus on comprehensive health, looking at the whole picture, not just quick fixes. That's really why the source material that spiked this conversation came from a trusted pediatric wellness resource, one that's dedicated to things like preventative care.
Exactly. So for more helpful tips, resources, and just great information on comprehensive pediatric wellness, things like nutrition, preventive care, you should definitely visit omegapediatrics.com. That article on zinc we mentioned is just one example of their commitment to health, what they call the Omega Promise.
Yeah, we really encourage you to seek out more information on the crucial role all micronutrients play in achieving the best health for you and your family.
And hey, if you found this conversation valuable, if you learned something interesting, please show us by hitting that like button. It really helps. And be sure to subscribe to our channel, Have More Babies, so you don't miss out on our next exploration into health and wellness topics.
And please share this video. Share it with someone you think needs to know about the incredible power packed into this essential nutrient.
Thank you so much for joining us for this important chat about zinc.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
We'll see you then. Bye for now.